I'm reading from a book. It's called Ernest's Way. I'm not only reading about recipes, I'm reading about the life of Ernest Hemingway because his birthday is in a couple of days when we're airing this. Cristen Hemingway Jaynes is our guest, and she is the great granddaughter of Ernest Hemingway. We're going to celebrate his birthday. This is terrific. So join us now as Mark Alyn Cooks takes us to the air. We'll be back as our show begins. This is a really terrific book, and we'll find out more about that as we bring in our guests. Over the last couple of weeks, I think Cristen and I have become friends, haven't we, Cristen? We're going to bring her in right now and say hi to Cristen Hemingway Jaynes. Haven't we become friends?
The jury's still out on that, but yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. I think we're
Right?
becoming friends.
We
Yeah.
have, and our mutual friend Tom Martin introduced us, and Tom is a great guy, and we appreciate everything he does for us. Anyway, Kristen, let's just briefly, how are you, Ernest Hemingway's granddaughter?
I'm his great granddaughter.
Great
So,
granddaughter is what I meant.
yeah. So
Yeah,
his youngest son, Gregory, is my grandfather. And Lorian, who's also a writer, is my mother.
got it. And do you think that writing is in the genes?
I think that artistic proclivity runs in families. That seems really strong in my family. There's a lot of artists, there's a lot of writers, there's poets. I do think
There's
that runs in
actors.
family. Creativity. What?
Yeah, you've got actors
Actors,
too,
actors, yes, of course.
right?
I think you know, that artistic sensibility runs in families.
Well, Ernest and I have one thing in common in that we're both July babies and we're both moon children or cancers. My birthday we celebrated last week here on Mark Alyn Cooks, and thank you all for joining us on that show with Heidi Levy, one of our oldest friends. We're going to start by taking a look at what um, Papa's Pilar sent us. I can't believe this. And I think we have three different rums. And we're going to do a little tasting. We're going to make Papa's daiquiri. And then we're also going to make his scampi. So, um, uh, good. Let's go back and do that again, Carol, and take off our lower thirds.
Oh yeah, I was blocking
Yeah.
the room.
Okay, here we go. So, as you can see, we have three rums from Papa's Pilar. And my understanding, Kristen, from the book and from reading about Ernest, and I have to tell you, The Old Man and the Sea, I've read. What a great story. And of course, the, the, um, the movie with Spencer Tracy was just, I always wanted to be Little Fish, the boy that he rescues,
Yeah,
right?
it's a
And
wonderful book. That was the first book I ever read by him. I was 12 and I stayed up until midnight finishing it. I read it all at once and I couldn't put it down. It was the first book that I ever experienced that with.
wow. Farewell to Arms is another of my favorites in the movie as
Me too.
well, right? Well, and we have to thank, I think, Trisha at,
Trisha Constable, yes, she is the head lady in charge at Papa's Pilar, and she is a wonderful, amazing woman. And yes, she provided us with 3 bottles of the delicious Papa's Pilar rum,
well,
three
we're going to,
different types.
yeah, three different types. So we're going to try them. And Carol, if you could bring up the label that's on each of these bottles, it actually has the other one. And that's okay. That's a great one. And we have uh, Carol, if you could bring up Papa's Pilar, the label that's on each of the bottles. All right, that's it. So let's take it again. This is editing. Sorry, Cristen. Here we go. Get rid of that. All right, we have the 3 bottles up here. Carol, if you could bring up, just so people can see the actual label. Look at that, and that's Ernest Hemingway's signature, and it's on each of these bottles. It's terrific. All right, we're going to start with this one. By the way, I believe Ernest said the following: rum was once a noble spirit. Have you heard that before?
Sounds familiar. I can't confirm that for sure, but it sounds like something he would say.
Yes. And so we're going to try this, and watch this. In case you get too fun, watch this. Yeah, thanks, Carol. Good one. You won't lose the cap. I always lose the cap, and because it's chained. All right, this particular rum is the Flagship Dark. So I'm going to taste that one first. I should actually
award winning as well.
Oh, yes. I'm going to start with the light rum. We're going to be making the daiquiri with that.
The blonde.
Shortly, with the light rum. Blonde.
Blonde, yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to... That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not a sweet drink person. And this is really, it's quite nice. All right, so we've got that. I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to get another. We are recording this show in the middle of the day, and I don't want to drink all of them. I'm going to try this next one. And Papa's Pilar rums are ultra premium, but they're not that outrageously expensive. This one is the Flagship, and we'll try this one. It's got a nice molassesy kind of nose.
It's very rich.
Mmm.
And full.
Yes.
So Papa's Pilar Distillery is in an old cigar factory in Old Town, Key West. And if you're ever in Key West, it's an absolutely stunning building with high ceilings and open brick. And it's just so beautiful. And this enormous bar and all these beautiful paintings from scenes from the books, from the novels.
Uh-huh.
And it's got a chess board and leather chairs, and it's such a beautiful space, and they have the doors open all the time, so you get the fresh sea air, and it's just a wonderful place to spend an afternoon.
Did Ernest smoke cigars? Do you know?
I believe he did. I'm not absolutely sure about that, but I believe so.
All right, we're going to try this last one now.
We have a Hemingway Fuentes cigar. Fuentes has a Hemingway cigar.
So he must. This is the rum that is aged in sherry casks. Now I can smell that molassesy, but there's a sweetness to it.
And if you go to the distillery, you can actually take a tour, and you can see the big casks that they use, and they'll explain the whole process, because everything is made on site.
These are all really nice. You know, I guess we get used to what's inexpensive at a bar, right? And those are not like these. These have really nice flavors. Now I'm going to put these away so that we can.
You're going to use the blonde for the daiquiri, right?
Yeah, I got to have room for the daiquiri.
Gotta try that.
Now, this is something that's very easy to make. It's so easy, I can't believe it. It takes like 2 minutes. So, now I always put...
Nice shaker you got there.
I'm sorry?
That's a nice shaker you got there.
Oh, thank you. Yes. So I'm going to, in my shaker, I'm going to pour all my ice. I'm going to put in 2 ounces of the white rum, and this is about an ounce and a half.
You sure you know what you're doing there?
Yeah. Boy, am I going to have a nice Saturday afternoon now.
Have you done this before? Have you made a daiquiri before?
I have never made a daiquiri before.
Wow.
I had a question. Papa, Ernest, had a name for these, or it was named after Papa's Double.
Papa Doble, I think it's for the mojito, actually, that was made in Cuba.
Got it. Because I thought I saw it for this as well. All right, so we're going to add that in. We're going to add in some fresh lime juice. There is nothing that compares with the smell of fresh cut lime. And I've got my little squeezer here. We're going to put that in. Oh, I can smell the lime juice already.
I can smell it through the screen.
Yes, we have smell-o-vision. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Smell-o-vision, yes. Everyone turn on their smell-o-vision.
Yes.
Let's see. I have it in here somewhere.
There we go. And I've got another lime, but I don't think I need it. And then I'm going to add about half an ounce of grapefruit juice.
You were right. It is the daiquiri.
Ah,
So one day, Hemingway was in the Floridita, which is the really famous bar in Cuba,
right.
where he used to go to use the restroom. He went in there to use the restroom. People in the bar were bragging about the daiquiris that were being served there, so he ordered one and took a sip. Ernest asked for another one, this time with less sugar and more rum, and that's how the Papa Doble or the Hemingway daiquiri was born.
Well,
So it was born in Havana at El Floridita.
got it. Well, I'm going to add some maraschino cherry juice, and I use Luxardo cherries. I'm going to add just some of the syrup in there. Luxardo cherries are my favorite. Whoops. They do have some preservatives in there. They are from Italy, and they're about $20 a bottle. I've had this bottle for 2 years. Luxardo, if you're out there, you can send me another one. Okay, I think we're done. Let me see. Oh, I need to make a lime wheel, so we'll do that too.
So what are all the ingredients that you put in there?
Ice, white rum, lime juice, some grapefruit juice, maraschino cherry juice, and then we're going to top this with a lime wedge.
Gotta
All right,
shake
here
it.
we go. And now, here we go. We're going to do the Ernest Hemingway Daiquiri dance right here. Now, as you shake this up on a shaker, it gets all nice and cold and wet. Woo-hoo!
Woo!
Now, there are many kinds of glasses and to serve this in. We're going to serve this in a coupe or coupe glass. Let me show you that glass.
That is the same type of glass that I had a Hemingway daiquiri in London at the library bar at the Lanesborough Hotel.
Right.
They had a special Hemingway daiquiri, and that was the type of glass that they served it to me in.
Right. And the reason, you can serve this in a champagne glass or a flute, but Carol dug this out. She remembered we had these. And did you know, Carol, that this is called a coupe or a coupe? You did not. If you listen to or read detective stories from the 30s and the 40s, everything was a coupe. I mean, the cars were a coupe. What kind of car was, right?
Check it out.
Oh my!
It's a Fitzgerald. It's a Fitzgerald-esque Yeah, it's a Fitzgerald S Coupe.
Oh my goodness. And today I think we dropped the A sound and we just call it a coupe. But all right, well, we've shaken this up. We've let it sit for a moment. Here we go.
Woo! Oh, that looks amazing. It's so dark from the cherry juice.
I got ruby red grapefruit juice, and then
Oh, okay.
of course the maraschino. So here we go. As I said, we are recording the show, and I may need a nap after this. Let's see. Oh, that's nice. And it's not sweet. It's not a sweet drink.
Well, he didn't want sugar in it. He thought the first one he had on his bathroom break, that first time he ever went to El Floridita, he thought it was too sweet. So we didn't add sugar to that.
Got it. Very nice. I'm going to leave this over here, and maybe Carol will sneak a taste in. Um,
I'm having water.
and oh, we have to toast. That was
Hmm.
so.
This glass is from my dear friend Angela. Gave me this glass for my birthday, so I just want to shout out to Angela.
Okay, Angela, thank you for the glass. And Ernest, wherever you may be, happy 124 years young.
Happy
Wow.
birthday, Ernest.
Yeah, happy birthday. Well, should we
Belated.
say Grandpa?
I call him Ernest when I refer to him, but I've imagined having many conversations with him about different subjects, and I'm not really sure what I would call him. It would definitely not be Ernest.
No. Do, and his nickname was Papa,
Yeah. Yeah, I
right?
don't know what I would call him. I don't know. Not really sure.
You have to think about that when you come back and we'll do another show. Okay, hold on. I'm just going to move over here. I'm cleaning my area away just a tad because now we're going to make shrimp scampi. And I love scampi. I found some beautiful shrimp. I'm going to show you those in just a second.
Mm,
You told me a story just before we started about scampi with risotto. We're not making the risotto today. You can make scampi with um, a wide variety of things. I like to have the butter sauce, the garlic butter sauce, and
mm,
I dip bread into it. And particularly, I think sourdough goes very, very well. And
mm.
this is a dish that anybody can make. It is very simple. And I'm going to start over here real quick. I'm going to start by putting the butter. You need a stick of butter, and we'll start melting that up. And
Do you
while
want
we're
me to
melting the butter,
Yeah, you don't. Do you want me to tell you the background story?
yeah,
So, in April of 1954, Ernest and Mary, his fourth wife, returned to Venice after they went to Africa and they were in two consecutive plane crashes there. Ernest sustained a lot of injuries, a lot of brain damage, and it was, a miracle that they even survived. He actually butted the door of the second plane open with his head to escape because they could fit out the other people in the plane could fit out the window, but he was too big to fit out the window, bulky man that he was, and so he actually head-butted his way out of the second plane. But anyway, they went to Venice, and while they were recuperating at the Greedy Palace Hotel, Ernest came up with his own medicine to recover, which was Scampi and Valpolicella wine. And Cipriani, who owns Harry's Bar and the Luconda Cipriani restaurant in Venice, had introduced him to this wine. And today, the Hemingway menu at the Greedy Palace Hotel includes scampi risotto with duck and ginger and the Valpolicella wine. So you're going to be making the scampi with risotto, correct?
exactly. And we'll hold off on the risotto only because there's so many other things to do with it and you can do a lot. I've eaten at Harry's Bar in New York City. It's fabulous. I really like that. But I wanted to just throw out another thank you to Papa's Pilar, our rum sponsor today. And Papa's Pilar is based on his boat that he owned and loved.
Yes. Which actually my great grandmother got for him as a surprise after they'd been married about 10 years. She ordered it from him. He had it specified and everything, but she actually got that boat for him as a present.
Is that
So,
boat, do you know if that boat is still around?
yes, it's in Havana. It's dry docked in Havana.
Oh my, I'd love to see that. Wouldn't that be great?
They have a replica in northern Florida. They did for a while have a replica in northern Florida. I'm not sure if that's still there or not, but the original Pilar is at his house, the Finca Vigia, dry docked in Havana. Well, outside of Havana.
I'm letting the butter melt just a little bit more. Nothing better to sweeten.
That looks delicious.
And we're going to
How
have,
you feeling? How are you feeling from the Aldebaran?
oh, right now I'm fine.
You feel like dancing?
Later, when I finish this, maybe not so fine. It's really good. Um, I wanted to say something about, well, there's the boat. Ooh, you can hear.
Oh yeah, there it goes.
Can you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to let that.
There's nothing like butter when it does that. It's
No.
magical ingredient.
Now I'm going to show you what I do for garlic. We peeled some garlic, and I'm going to use a garlic press because if I use a garlic press, it minces the garlic really easily. Now, some people like to chop it and slice it fine. I prefer this method. I just think that it releases more of the garlic flavor. I'm going to turn my butter down in a minute. In fact, right now. There we go.
It's healthier that way too. You get more of the nutritional properties from the garlic when you do that.
And we should, speaking of nutrition, um, my dear friend Cristen is one of the brightest women I've ever met. Yeah, really. Um,
Who, me?
you, you. She
Well,
is.
thank you.
So get this, folks. She's a writer. She writes for um, an environmental publication.
Eco
She
Watch, yeah.
and what's the name again?
Eco Watch.
Eco Watch. Okay, so you're watching for us. That's good.
Mm-hmm. Eagle Eye.
And she is a environmental lawyer. You went to school at University of Oregon, I believe, for that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, as I said, one of the smartest women ever. Okay, now I'm stirring in the garlic.
Oh, that
Butter
looks
is foaming.
amazing.
We're going to let that dissipate a little bit, and we're going to let that cook for just a moment. In the meantime, I'm going to show you the shrimp I found.
Nice.
Now, scampi
Those are
shrimp should be,
beautiful.
yeah, these are still raw. And Whole Foods had a sale on these. I don't normally buy farm farmed fish of any kind. However, Whole Foods says their fish and seafood, when it is farm raised, is sustainable, and they don't use any junk like antibiotics and things like that. These are beautiful shrimp. I peeled them earlier. They 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 look delicious already.
They do.
And
So are scampi just jumbo shrimp?
I'm sorry.
Are scampi just jumbo shrimp? Like huge shrimp?
Um, you can actually make it with a smaller shrimp. I think scampi is more of a style of cooking. It's
Okay.
and I've made it. Carol doesn't like it like this, so we don't do that. I've added white wine to the sauce. I've added sherry to the sauce. I really like it with a touch of sherry. And in fact, it just hit me. One of the light rum would be perfect in this
Mm.
dish. It would give it a real
Wow.
nice,
That sounds
nice
good. Yeah.
taste. Now, if you can see, through the foam. The garlic is not quite cooked, but it's getting there.
Looks delicious already.
Oh,
Butter and garlic can't go wrong.
yes. I wish you could smell this. It smells
We've got
amazing.
smell-o-vision. What are you talking about? I can smell it just fine.
That's yes, you can. Okay. The garlic is going to turn a golden brown, and as it turns that golden brown, we'll know that it's ready. The butter foamed up, and
It
it
is
did that.
quite foamy. Yeah,
Okay.
it's it's
Do you
quite
see?
foamy.
I'm gonna through the foam. I'm gonna bring some of the garlic over here,
Mm.
and you can see that the garlic is turning a nice brown. Okay, nice gold.
I just want to eat that right now.
Yeah. Oh, I tell you. All right. The next step, we're going to put these shrimp in. I bought just under a pound of shrimp. We got 9 of these beauties.
They're all for you. Carol doesn't want any.
I'm sorry?
They're all for you. Carol doesn't want any.
No, 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 no. Carol will eat her share. And maybe my share.
You'll be passed out anyway.
Okay. Now the shrimp should cook for about 2 to 3, maybe 4 minutes. They're cooking pretty quickly. You know when your shrimp are done when they turn pink. So we're going to let it.
Yeah, I remember when I was growing up in the Florida Keys, we lived on this little island about 28 miles north of Key West, and we used to get fresh shrimp right across the road. We'd just walk across the road to Dolphin Marina and get fresh shrimp over there, and I'd never had anything like that in my life since then.
Yeah, most shrimp in the United States, unless you're there, and Gulf shrimp, if you're like in New Orleans or Galveston, Texas, most of the shrimp in this country are frozen, and they're frozen on board the shrimp boats.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that cooks so fast.
Yeah, it cooks very quickly. One of these, I'm going to let it cook a little bit longer, and then I'm going to turn this one over a little bit more. And I'm going to turn the heat up just a bit.
Don't want to
Let's
make it
talk.
tough.
I can't wait. So we're gonna try that in just a second or two. Cristen, during the week, you are an environmental writer. Tell us what you're writing about this week. Anything that we should know about?
Well, actually, I'm about to do a feature piece on a kelp food company that makes kelp burgers, and they started out making kelp jerky, and now they have focused on the kelp burgers. So it's called Akua, Akua, and it's an amazing little company, and they're really branching out, and it's available, I think, in Whole Foods and different stores, and you can order online. But I'm doing a feature piece about them because kelp, raising kelp is a sustainable practice as well,
Sure.
and it contributes less much minus 300. If you eat kelp burgers for a year, you're going to be contributing minus 300 carbon emissions as compared to plus 600, I believe, if you eat beef, for instance, for the same amount of meals. So
And
it's really sustainable and it's good for the environment. I write a lot about climate change. I write a lot about animals. I write about endangered animal species. I write about extreme weather, all kinds of environmental related stuff.
not to get political, but is there climate change?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Scientists, have confirmed many times now that climate change is a real thing. It is happening. We've already breached 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, which was the threshold that was agreed upon for the Paris Agreement, that we were going to try to keep the world below that threshold so that the most extreme consequences of climate change don't happen. And we've already started to breach that. So it's definitely a real thing, and as much as we can do as individuals does matter. So, yeah, no question.
Wow. Okay, it's time.
It's time for the
I was.
scampi. Oh,
It is. And normally I would take this sauce here and dunk bread in it, which is
what
what
do you
we'll
mean
do.
normally? What are you talking about? Why are you not doing that?
Only because I forgot to take the bread out.
Oh, well, you're gonna have to pour it over the scampi. You can't waste that beautiful sauce.
You're right. Let's do that.
It's
I'm
like the
gonna.
best part. I mean, you have to live this for me. I can't. I have smell-o-vision, but I don't have taste-o-vision.
Got it. Ooh, taste of vision. I, I wonder if that could be patented. Okay, here we go. I've got a single shrimp out here. Um, be careful when you're cooking your shrimp not to overcook it. You know
Yeah.
it's done when it's like this, white.
Oh my gosh, that looks beautiful.
All right, here we go. Now I'm going to wait a second or two because I don't like burning my mouth. I'm a big baby. So,
Well, it doesn't taste as good if you burn your mouth first.
no.
Oh,
You talk, I'm going to eat.
oh my gosh. I really can like feel
Mm,
the the pleasure that you're feeling tasting this right now.
oh my. You
Is it
know
just
what?
hitting? Is it hitting all of those subtle like sensors in your tongue? I mean, it's just
Every one
one of those
twice.
dishes. Yeah. So
Mm,
imagine that with risotto in Venice with a very, very cold. Ernest really liked his beverages very, very cold. A very, very cold bottle of Valpolicella wine sitting in Venice and eating that
that would
in
be.
1954.
Mm. You know what would be nice with this, I think?
I was going to say, try the daiquiri and see how it complements it.
Yeah.
You're like, I want another bite of shrimp.
I do. Mm. All
Oh my
right.
gosh. What a refreshing meal on a summer afternoon.
No, really, it's an easy meal. It's right now Whole Foods as we record this. I think this was if you're a Prime member on Amazon, it was less than $11 a pound.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
good.
these large, beautiful, sustainably raised shrimp. The book, of course, is Ernest's Way. It's a wonderful book. It talks about the history of one of the greatest writers of the 20th century. I mean, The Old Man and the Sea, Farewell to Arms. Those are two of my favorites. And many short stories. He was a journalist. He volunteered, I think he was a medic, uh,
Yeah, he
World
was a
War
medic
One.
in Italy in World War One. Yeah, and then he also, was covering the Spanish Civil War as well.
It's amazing. I always got the feeling that he was anti-war after
Oh
Farewell.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't think he was pro-war. Just because he was covering wars and he wanted to be there and see what was going on doesn't mean he was pro-war. He was very anti-fascist. He was on the side of the revolutionaries in the Spanish Civil War, on the side of the people. So yeah.
So, will you come back sometime soon? Maybe we'll meet up sometime in person.
Yeah, let's cook
I,
something together so that I
yeah,
can
we
not
record.
only tell you what to do, but I can taste it.
Yes, exactly, exactly. I'd love to have you come back. Um, Next week we have a special program with a James Beard winning chef. He is uh, based in Connecticut, and he comes to us from our friend Tom Martin as well. His name is Chef Michel, and we'll be talking with him next week here on Mark Alyn Cooks Your Dinner. Again, a couple of thank yous. Uh, Teresa, am I getting that right? I think it was, hold on,
Trisha,
Trisha.
Trisha.
Trisha. Trisha, I apologize.
Mr. Constable.
Trish, you know, go to papaspilar.com. You can order the rums and see about the history of these wonderful, ultra premium, not overly expensive drinks. And I think you'll enjoy them. And thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Hold on just for a moment as we wrap up our show. I'm Mark Alyn. Carol, as always, thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Bye bye for now.